has taken control of the airports and rail lines. Rationing of fuel for emergency food shipments will begin soon in the hardest hit areas.
The White House is warning that the oil reserves are down to just 500 million barrels. Experts predict that the United States may run out by the end of the year.
It's now 30 days since the world's oil disappeared. Governments around the globe take drastic action. They keep only the most crucial services up and running. Emergency oil reserves are converted into diesel fuel for cargo trains. These trains deliver coal to power plants to keep electricity on. Some basic electrical services are restored in countries around the world. In North America, electricity is now delivered through a system of isolated power grids. It can no longer be sent from grid to grid. In Florida, where much of the state's power comes directly from oil, blackouts are still widespread. Emergency fuel gets passenger trains rolling again. But now, they're carrying food, not people. Transporting food is rapidly draining the world's emergency reserves. The U.S. only has enough oil to last another 11 months. Cars that once defined the country are in danger of becoming obsolete. There are over 235 million cars that run on gasoline in America. Imagine pushing your car for 20 miles. That's the power from just 1 gallon of gasoline. America needs cars. It's literally built to serve them. Half of the U.S. lives in the suburbs. Before the oil crisis, most of what we consumed was delivered to us. Now, we must kiss that easy life goodbye. Americans are desperate for an alternative. In the Midwest, 400,000 farmers plant a new crop. These fields once grew different fruits and vegetables. Now, there's only soybeans. Oil can be extracted from soybeans and turned into diesel fuel. And there are other options. 150 million acres of land is now devoted to growing corn for ethanol, a fuel alternative for gas-powered cars. In Brazil, cars are still on the road, even without oil. Here, cars and trucks are running on ethanol made from sugarcane. North America is decades behind. But there's still hope that the end of oil may not be the end of the line. Thousands of electric cars are on the streets. On a planet without oil, they could point the way to a new future. But another, more immediate challenge is on the horizon. A dark and dangerous winter.
Has announced that the big 3 automakers have been taken over by Washington. They'll concentrate on making electric trucks to supplement food deliveries along with diesel.
The Department of Agriculture has announced an aggressive plan to plant sugarcane throughout Florida, Louisiana, and Hawaii this winter to speed up ethanol production.
Food shipments from area farms to New York, Philadelphia, and Boston have been further reduced to every other day.
It's now 5 months since the world ran out of oil. In big cities throughout the U.S., food terminals are closed. Hungry people don't have enough to eat. Long lines form at train stations awaiting food shipments.
You want some rice?
Powdered milk and rice take the place of fresh produce. Coal deliveries, fire trucks, and other essential services are still receiving fuel from emergency reserves, for now. But nearly everything else is at a standstill. To stretch the final reserve barrels as long as possible, the U.S. dramatically reduces its oil consumption. Even so, in a few months, there won't be enough oil for any food deliveries at all. While food is still being brought in, garbage isn't being taken away. Every year, it takes nearly 6,000 trucks burning 20 million gallons of diesel to get rid of New York's trash. In this new world, garbage cleanup is a luxury. Even with blackouts, growing hunger, and a looming winter, North America is doing better than most. "6,000 miles away, an economic disaster is unfolding. 90% of Saudi Arabia's income from exports used to come from oil. Now, the country's economy is collapsing. One of the dwindling food shipments is heading to Japan. The country used to import 60% of its nutritional needs. Now the population of one of the world's most prosperous countries is beginning to starve. Back in the US, people are getting desperate, and they aren't waiting on the government for answers.
That's good. That's good.
Garages and basements are now makeshift laboratories.
Ready for next one?
Where everyday citizens combine methanol, lye, and other scavenged chemicals to make homemade biofuel.
I think this one's ready and you can get...
It's a dangerous gamble, but if it pays off, it could fuel an escape out of the city.
All right, I need the funnel. Yeah.
But this do-it-yourself solution only works on diesel cars, and only for a little while.
All right. Yeah, here we go. You ready, brother?
You did it, brother, yes!
Woo! You're the best. You're the best.
Other fuel alternatives are also facing serious hurdles. After a massive emergency planting, the soybean harvest in North America is now twice as big as the previous year. It's producing more than 500 million gallons of biodiesel. But that's still less than 1% of the diesel North America used each year before oil disappeared. And there won't be any more shipments until the next harvest. More and more corn is being planted to produce ethanol. But governments around the world face a brutal choice. Should next year's crop be used for fuel or food? In a world without oil, hospitals are running out of critical supplies. Rubber gloves, drugs, lubricants, plastic gowns, they're all made from oil. Without them, drug-resistant infections are spreading quickly. In big cities, some families are managing to survive, but things are taking a turn for the worse. Electrical transformer fires that used to be a minor nuisance now spell major disaster. Abandoned cars block emergency ambulances. And to make matters worse, winter's coming.
Put in all your winters.
For millions, it's time to make a decision. Hunker down in a crowded, dangerous city, or get out.
The exodus continues. Across America, people are fleeing the cities. It's being called
An emergency government transport, by foot, by sled. However they can, they're getting out. As the temperature plummets, hundreds of thousands of people are leaving. New York, Chicago, Detroit. They're heading
Throughout Europe, the destination